What's up, Sarah? This is episode 4.
Yeah, so episode 4.
So what'd you eat for dinner tonight?
Chili's.
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve, and
That's why we went to Chili's.
that's why well, I mean, Sarah, you tried to cook something. You were trying to cook something new.
Oh my god.
I'm going to drag you right at the beginning.
Drag.
Some edamame Alfredo that did not go so well.
I just don't know what I'm doing yet. We're like working on figuring out how to cook for me because I'm
Right.
bad at cooking. So like it's a work in process. It's a work in process. It's a work in progress.
It's a something.
Fuck me. Whatever.
So, yeah, so anyway, we tried to eat that, and that didn't go so well, so we ended up at Chili's because it's Christmas Eve, and that's just where you end up.
It's pretty much all that's open. I think that like some fast food is probably open, and
Yeah.
I know Carrabba's is, but I know it's like a thing that people go to Carrabba's on Christmas Eve.
Right.
So like I didn't want to end up there with like a bunch of families.
No, that would have been even more miserable. But Chili's wasn't miserable. I mean, so, like, Chili's is not a very vegan-friendly place, obviously. As the server said, they're known for their burgers, fajitas, and margaritas.
I think she said
Yeah.
margaritas, yeah.
So, how did we order? I mean, first of all, we went to what? Like, was that the PETA website?
No, it's actually the Veganuary website. It's like veganuary.com.
Oh, okay.
And they like give you a little like explanation of what's vegan and what's like not. Because their goal obviously is to get people to go vegan for the month of January.
Right.
And it's like a pretty successful campaign. They've done really well in recent years. I'm excited to see how they do this year. And I'll probably like shout them out on my Instagram a bunch.
Literally never heard of them. That doesn't mean they're not doing well. It means that
They're doing really well.
I don't go on social media. I don't really, but like, that's cool. So we found some food on that website that was vegan.
Yeah, as a list.
Yeah.
Like what you can get. And like also our like common sense and some past knowledge of times we've been to Chili's.
Right. So what did you have? You had like some kind of modified fajitas.
Right. So they offer a black bean patty fajita, which is really, really fucking dope for vegetarians because it's a black bean patty that's like the meat of the fajita, right? And that has egg in it,
Oh,
which
great.
is a bummer.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't really like black bean patties pretty much ever anyways. I don't think they're that good. And I
Yeah.
don't know how they do them at Chili's. I've never had it before, so I don't know like what the deal is. But so I always have done this. I've just asked, like, instead of the patty, can I sub extra black beans? Because I fucking love black beans.
Yeah.
And their black beans are vegan. Their rice is vegan. Their veggies, obviously, their veggies are vegan. And they just bring you the little, like, tortillas, and I ask for it with no cheese. Like,
Yeah.
no dairy, no cheese, no sour cream. And usually I
Right.
say no dairy, and then they, like, clarify. Because you don't always know what's in that. Like,
Yeah.
does it come with sour cream? I don't know. But if you say no dairy, they're like, oh, so no cheese and no sour cream. And I'm like, exactly.
Right. So you had tortillas with veggies, rice, and beans, and they were pretty good. I stole one. And then I had the Santa Fe crisper salad with no crispers, obviously. And you swap out the dressing, and it was on the website. It was pretty easy, and it was good. And then we also had, what, chips and salsa?
Chips and salsa and fried pickles, which I know you didn't eat any, but
Right.
they're pretty good. I didn't get through most of them because, to be honest, my stomach cannot handle fried food the way
They
it
looked
used
really
to.
heavy.
It's most fried pickles are very lightly battered.
Right.
And the deal is it's like you can see the pickle.
Yeah.
And there's like a light batter
These were not like that.
over a visible
Okay.
pickle.
Yeah, no, I've seen those, I think.
These almost look like chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Like, it looked like if you had a big one, it could be like a fried patty for, like, some kind of sandwich.
Yeah,
So, not great.
right. They were very good. The bummer about them, and anyone that eats fried pickles on a regular basis knows this, is they usually come with, like, ranch, which, like,
Right.
thankfully, the batter on the fried pickle itself is vegan because, like, I fucking love pickles.
Yeah.
They're, like, one of my favorite things just to, like, eat. But usually fried pickles you can't get because they have egg.
Right.
And this batter was clearly different. And they had the ranch with it, which is a bummer because the ranch sort of, like, cuts that, like, fried, like, shitty,
It's like a
oily
cool flavor to
right,
go with
exactly.
it. Yeah. No, we should have brought some Just Ranch or something. That would have really helped.
We're going to be like bringing our own little like sauces and shit with us to places.
Right. So anyway, that's like a neat thing we ate today, and I guess we're going to try to talk about like some exciting food or not so exciting food, whatever is going on that we're eating.
Right. We just thought it would be cool to maybe open the podcast by talking about like an interesting thing that we ate. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, you can be vegan, but like I think that there's a lot of value in literally examples. Because like Chili's, nobody thinks about Chili's as like a vegan friendly place. When I went there as a teenager, I went there a lot as a teenager. I always got that like Cajun pasta, that Cajun chicken pasta. Cajun chicken. It's like an Alfredo, which is maybe why we gravitated toward Chili's, because we were trying to replace an Alfredo. Right. But it's like an Alfredo, like, I don't know, fucking linguine or something, and like grilled chicken, and it's like really good, but it's obviously meat and dairy. Yeah. And there's no getting around it. And so like that's what I always think about when I think about Chili's, or like little tiny like shitty steaks, if you like feel in a steak.
Yeah. So no, it's cool. But what did you want to talk about today, like for realsies?
For realsies, I wanted to like explore, since we're fairly early on in the podcast, and this is going to come up inevitably a billion times, is like the role that social media plays in veganism and creating vegans, and just like obviously now there's more vegans than pretty much ever. Right. Like in recorded history, which is all of history. It's like what that word means. It's like something that's recorded. But there's more vegans than ever. And I think that pretty much all of us can like universally accredit that to social media. Right. And like we're talking to each other. And so like even if you live in like a small rural town where there's no other vegans, you can go online and find all of the other vegans. We're all here. Yeah, no. I mean, that's the thing with everything, I guess. Like internet and social media makes the world nice and tight. So it's cool for vegans. Right. So you sort of went vegan, we talked about obviously in episode 1, because of me. Yeah, I'm not so big on social media, not a huge fan, certainly not a member of any communities. So I was part of what got me into this, in case you haven't listened to episode 1 in a minute, or you haven't listened, which I recommend you do, is that I was on like YouTube, and I was always looking for recipes to like maybe live healthier, maybe lose weight, maybe just like different stuff. And I came across like vegan social media. Right. And like my first reaction to it was like, ew, veganism is like not sustainable for everybody, and it like picks on people with eating disorders, and it blah, 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 blah. I had like lots of criticisms about it. I was like immediately very defensive. Yeah. Like veganism isn't for everybody. And part of that was because I was like, I was not vegan. Right. You know? No, you always try to make like any kind of excuse, but I mean, you still have a lot of critique of vegan social media, which I'm sure is something we'll talk about. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, but I was on vegan social media, and some of the vegans that I was seeing, I was looking at Fully Raw Christina. Oh God. And I was looking at Freely. Yeah. And I was looking at a few others in that sort of circle of like, all raw is really good, or mostly raw is pretty good, like heavy fruit, like sort of like jungle lifestyle. Like I don't know what the fuck Freely's doing these days, but it looks like every time I see one of her videos come up, she's like in a jungle somewhere. Right. Like she's like off-grid living, which if you're posting to YouTube, you're on the fucking grid, but whatever. And I think it's really important because despite my criticisms of veganism, Freely and Christina both, for different reasons, sucked me the fuck in. And you've seen both of them, right? Yeah, and they immediately put me off. So kind of the opposite reaction that you had, I guess. But like, I can see it. They're very charismatic. That's why they have a fucking following. Right. They both have huge followings. Yeah. And Freely's like sort of attitude, at least at the time, a couple years ago, and I think maybe it's a little bit different now, but not very different, was just kind of like, fuck you, go vegan, you're going to be fucking healthier. You're going to thank me later. Just shut the fuck up.
Right.
And that was like her mentality. And this was, I got into it after the 30 bananas a day thing.
I remember that was like definitely something they were talking about a lot in the early days of you being vegan.
Right. Because that was something that Freely and her partner at the time like sort of created. Was like, your diet can be 30 bananas a day. And I don't know if it was 30 bananas a day in addition to other fruit.
Yeah.
Or just 30 bananas.
Anyway, but that was your social media like exposure to vegans.
Right. I mostly made it past the 30 bananas, but what I really was seeing a lot of, and what I started talking to you about, maybe the reason you thought it was like fucking bullshit eating disorder, was 80-10-10 and Raw Till 4.
Oh, yeah.
Both of which I think are wholly Freely's thing. I think 80-10-10 was actually like coined by a doctor.
Yeah.
Like some vegan, like whatever.
What is the 80-10-10 thing?
80-10-10 is like a macronutrient split. So
Right.
80% of your daily calories come from carbs, and
Right.
10% comes from fat, and 10% comes from protein.
Okay, and then Raw Till 4 is obviously Raw Till 4.
Your breakfast, lunch,
Yeah.
and like afternoon snacks are raw foods, and then you have like a big cooked meal. And the cooked meal is always like whole foods. It's always like rice and vegetables and stuff like that. It's not processed.
Right.
So obviously like the raw meals for Freely especially were like just a big ass bowl of mangoes.
Yeah.
We see like some YouTubers like Kate Flowers does raw for the most part, and she like her vegan raw diet is very like sort of like gourmet raw.
Yeah.
Higher fat, higher protein. She eats like just like a varied diet that's like pretty high in micronutrients and protein and fat, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great raw recipes out there. Like even Loving Hut, our local like vegan place, has a lot of raw like entrees that look pretty fucking good. But so that was what was going on in the social media sphere, like in the early days for you.
Right. Seeing just a lot of people basically say, if you don't try to be as raw as possible, you're stupid. And that was kind of the draw toward Christina from Freely, is Christina is like very earthy and spiritual and like positive.
A little nicer to watch. Like
she's got nothing but nice things to say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Freely with so much drama.
Oh my god, Freely would like make reaction videos to other YouTubers, vegan or not, and basically call them fucking stupid or murderers. Just like would just shit all over them.
So cute.
She was pretty aggro, and I don't know what the fuck the deal was.
Yeah.
But
that's what put me off, I think, is like anyone who's that aggro.
She was just kind of yelling.
Yeah.
But Christina, she's so sweet and so positive, and basically her deal then was that like, look, going raw cured me, because she had like pre-diabetes,
Right.
She had some other issues, she had some health problems, and then she went completely raw. That's why
like
she's
12 years
fully
or something,
raw, Christina.
right?
She's been raw for a fucking long time.
It was 12 years, like a couple years ago, maybe.
She's been raw for a long time.
Yeah.
And she's just so sweet and so happy. And at the time, she owned like a juicing company, an organic co-op, like whatever. Just she was fucking walking the walk too.
Yeah.
She wasn't just like, you have to eat raw or you're gonna die. Like she wasn't just selling a cookbook online like Freely was. She was like doing it, and you could fucking order her juices if you lived in like the area and stuff.
Yeah.
And she like, I think the first video I saw from her is she like took you through YouTube through like a whatever the local grocery store was for her, but like to us equivalent to like a Publix or like an Albertsons or a Winn-Dixie or something.
Yeah.
Just like really basic grocery store, like run of the mill, nothing like special or sexy, like Whole Foods. And she like showed you all the stuff she bought.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I don't buy any sugar, I don't buy any salt, I don't buy anything like that. And like a lot of that shit on the surface, I was like, okay, shit, like I can do that.
No, it sounds nice, I guess.
Like eat mostly fruits and then some vegetables and you're good. And she was whipping up some recipes for a while there that were like kind of interesting. But part of the problem with Christina was that she promoted an extremely, extremely low fat diet.
Right.
Akin to Freely's 80-10-10. Who gives a fuck about protein was the first thing. It's like no one gave a shit. without protein. But they really, really wanted to avoid fat because some fucking asshole, I forget who, maybe it's Dr. Greger. I don't want to say it's Dr. Greger if it's not, but somebody said the fat you eat is the fat you wear.
Right.
If you eat nuts, seeds, avocados, etc., you'll get fat. In any amount.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, no.
Yeah.
There's just no fucking evidence for that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, calories in, calories out, kind of.
Right, and like quality of calories matter, but ultimately, like, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to lose body fat, right, which is kind of like the draw for a lot of people towards veganism, in the beginning anyways, like, it's calories in, calories out. If you're eating 1,200 calories of Twinkies, but you were eating 2,000 calories of, like, not Twinkies, but, like, something else before, you're gonna lose weight because you're eating far fewer calories. So, like, it's just calories in, calories out.
Right.
Quality matters, but only to so much. Like, I don't fucking know what I'm saying. I'm done.
All right, so they were who drew you in. They were who drew you into, like, the social media for vegans. And, like, I know there's a lot of other social media, like, vegan people that you watch and stuff. So was it mostly YouTube for you? I mean, when did Twitter vegan become a thing?
Twitter vegan became a thing after Instagram vegan became a thing for me. Because I was kind of not on social media. I was a little bit on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, like, I was looking in the vegan groups, which there's, like, a few vegan Facebook groups. I forget what they are because I'm pretty much nowhere on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I got on Instagram because I was motivated to go vegan.
Yeah.
And, like, getting on Instagram would motivate me to, like, post pictures of my food. So if you go back far enough in my Instagram, just to 2 years ago is when I started it, you can see all manner of, like, pictures of, like, me eating just fruits.
Oh, yeah. No, fruit salads and... Yeah, there's gross food back there on our Instagram.
Yeah, some of it's fine. Like, there's, like, a Lenny and Larry's back there.
I have, like, flashbacks thinking about the steamer packs of, like, veggies with the rice and the sriracha. So gross.
We ate so much of that shit.
But but yeah, Instagram was a way to be accountable, I guess, which, like, social media is. Like, you share that stuff. Mm-hmm. So...
And, like, ultimately, there were very few issues with me on Instagram, and there continue to be very few issues with me on Instagram. One of my biggest, like, problems with Instagram, though, is that, like, there's all manner of vegan hashtags, right? And I'm mostly in, like, the vegan bodybuilding hashtags because that's, like, where my interests intersect.
Right.
But there's just a lot of, like, go vegan or vegan for the animals or, like, whatever hashtags. And a lot of those just lead, like, into, like, animal slaughter pics.
Right. Which is so huge on social media, and it just scares the shit out of me.
I don't know if it's, like, a good policy or not.
Yeah.
Because you and I were already vegan by the time we had watched Earthlings. And we watched Earthlings and we're just, like, sitting on the bed fucking crying.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, that's it. We're good.
I mean,
like,
what is it with, like...
solidified.
Yeah. What is it with, like, the graphic content that gets posted so much? Like, does that turn anybody? And, like, who's it for? And, like, who's going to find it?
I don't know.
It's just weird.
I have opinions about it because I know some people see Earthlings and don't go vegan.
Right, of course.
And that's interesting to me. But it kind of, I guess, depends on what kind of person you are. And, like, not to say that if you watch Earthlings and don't go vegan, you're a bad person.
Right.
But it's interesting to think about, like, the way that I've always thought about going vegan is, like, you're looking out for number one first. Yeah. So usually it's fucking What the Health or some sort of documentary that people watch that's like, hey, if you eat plant-based, you're going to be less susceptible to heart attacks. You're going to be less susceptible to obesity. You're going to be less susceptible to all manner of cancers. Yeah. And, like, especially people that are interested in losing weight or in some way facing their mortality just really get hooked on that shit.
Yeah.
And I remember that was part of it with you, is you were interested in losing weight, and you were like, fuck, let's do this. And it was forks over knives.
Yeah.
But then after that, one of the things is the environment. People
Yeah.
are really excited about the environment, especially these days after some of these reports that have come out this year that we're fucked. People are like, oh
Right.
shit, we should eat more plant-based because we're fucked. And like, we could be maybe less fucked if we eat plant-based.
Yeah.
And then like the third thing is the animals.
Right.
Is like, once you're already vegan, you see like a slaughterhouse footage or something, you're like, oh fuck, I'm glad I'm not contributing to that.
It's interesting on social media for me because I try not to find the slaughterhouse videos. I try not to find any of the like
really try to avoid
animal
them.
cruelty videos because like I don't need it. But I am on Instagram a lot of time looking at animals, like wildlife photography, birds and things. And so many people who are really into the environment, really into animals, are not vegan. And it's an interesting area of social media where I feel like these people that know the most about animals, like wildlife and stuff, are also not really part of vegan Instagram or vegan social media. And it's just kind of interesting. I don't know.
Would
I don't know where I'm going with
you?
that.
I mean, I feel like you can kind of speak on that a little more though, even because that was you kind of for a while. Or does fishing not count?
I think fishing doesn't count because it's just kind of a violent act anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, by the time I was into wildlife, like bird watching and things like that, I was vegan, so I can't really speak on it.
Right.
But it is, because bird watching is such a passive activity and it's such a fun, like, and a lot of these people are really into conservation. They're in the Audubon and stuff, and like, but then they'll eat like all the meat, all the chicken and everything, and it's just,
And they love to post pics of it like on Instagram.
yeah. Like I follow some like rescue centers and they'll post like food and stuff. Like they're rescuing animals in one hand and like contributing to the slaughter in the other. And that's fucking weird.
Which is really interesting
Yeah.
because all of those people and others that don't do that will fucking yell at you if you claim in any way that they don't love animals.
Right.
Like me and my aunt got into it a little bit because I was like, oh really? You love animals? Like, because
Yeah.
she was talking about you and she's like, oh yeah, I love animals. It's so nice. I'm like, oh really? You do? And she's like one of those people, or she was at the time at least, who was like almost anti-vegan.
Yeah.
Because my mom was like talking about like some Gardein like sliders or something like that.
Right.
And she's like, you know what would be better? Chick-fil-A. And my mom was like, whatever.
Right.
Like, it was dumb. But it's interesting to think about like these people post on social media about loving animals and then turn around in just a couple of hours and eat something with meat in it.
And post about.
And posted about it.
Yeah. It just blows my mind. And like I know there was a time in my life when it wouldn't have blown my mind. Like I know there was like, it's just weird. But that's social
Right.
media. That's like my social media is like I'm not really the vegan, but like the wildlife lovers supposedly.
Right. No, and that's kind of like, that's hard. And I don't really know what to think about it. And I try not to be that bitch that's like, well, I guess you don't love animals then. Because like telling people that like how they feel.
Yeah, you don't want to tell people how they
Seems-
feel.
It seems ineffective.
Yeah, super
Like,
ineffective.
because I'm like, oh, you don't love animals? Then they're like, well, fuck you, dude. I'm going to keep eating animals just because you told me I shouldn't. And
Yeah.
like, because people get so fucking defensive. Even
Right.
just me sitting by myself with my laptop in 2016 watching these videos was like, well, fuck you, because it's not sustainable for this. And like,
Right.
it's not
And I mean,
sometimes.
and social media is like a great place to get really defensive. Like you read it in the comments and stuff. People just go hard on there about how like, I don't know, like just all kinds of shit on vegans. And it's kind of interesting how it like permeates into the vegan social media. Like if you go on, you'll like find comments from like Bacon Dave and shit, like
Right.
on YouTube and stuff.
And it's kind of weird because like, I don't know. I'm one of those people that has a hard time saying that I'm like never going to do something, never going to try something, never interested in this. And yet I see so many other people who I guess are like different in their like thoughts than I am. They're like, oh, I would never go vegan.
Right.
Because I don't even think when I was feeling defensive like that, the thought was I would never go vegan and that's why I'm mad about this, is they literally say, oh, I would never go vegan.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what that means. Because I think for some people, they're like, okay, well, I could go mostly vegan, but I'm going to want to eat, honey once in a while. So I would never be able to technically go vegan.
Well, that's when you get back to it, like, are you doing it for the label? Mm-hmm. Because, like, you can definitely reduce and, like, contribute to, like, a better life for animals or something without, like, getting the label.
Right. And that's part of where vegan social media can be problematic.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot because, like, social media made me vegan.
Right.
Like, I went vegan because of social media, and because social media was like, hey, go watch these documentaries, go do this.
Yeah.
And I was swayed by that, which I don't know that I'd be swayed by it now, knowing what I know about, like, the, like, factual correctness of all of the documentaries.
Right.
But, like, it got me here, right?
Yeah.
And, like, someone was talking about Freely, I forgot who it was on YouTube, saying, like, look, she's been giving bad nutrition advice pretty much this whole time. But we all went vegan because of her. So, like, we got to give her credit where it's due.
Yeah.
And yet, I have to wonder sometimes if vegans on social media are creating more problems.
Yeah.
And part of that's fucking Freely.
Right.
Like, Freely had a big publicity stunt. Freely had a big publicity stunt last year, or maybe it was early this year, with a popular YouTube star whose name I won't say because I don't want to, like, drive attention to her because it's not fucking cool. But she was perceived as being very dangerously thin, and is, like, she's really, really popular. And all the comments on this poor girl's videos are just like, oh, you're anorexic, you're this, you're dying, you look like you're dying, you look like you're already dead, like, what will your mother think? Like,
right.
Horrible shit. Because
I remember this, yeah.
She's very, very thin.
Yeah.
And Freely made a video about her.
Yeah.
And basically it was like, hey, so-and-so, come live with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that's very generous. But
maybe.
It was kind
generous, exploitative, whatever.
It was okay. Like, a lot of people are assigning to this girl, because she hasn't spoken out about it, as far as I know. They're assigning an eating disorder to her.
Right.
Which we don't fucking know. But they're assigning an eating disorder to her. They're saying she must be anorexic, or she must have something wrong with her that's causing her to eat this way. And if that's true, what Freely's saying is, I'll cure you of your eating disorder. Come live with me.
Right.
Come live with me. I'll show you the vegan lifestyle. And, like, come live with me. Which, anyone that knows even just a little bit about eating disorders knows that that's not a good fucking solution.
Right.
Like, if you have an eating disorder and you're trying to recover from that, the solution is not to put you on a restrictive diet. And I know a lot of people say, oh, veganism isn't restrictive. You can eat so much. You can eat so much more, which is not fucking true.
You can eat more if you're vegan.
Everyone got fat on 30 bananas a day, and I don't really want to hear another word about it. Like,
yeah.
You gotta, it's fucking calories in, calories out, like you said at the top of the episode. But, like, giving someone a diet where you can't eat this and you can't eat that and you have to eat a certain way in order to be, like, a good vegan as they're coming off of an eating disorder is fucked up.
Yeah.
And even if it's not an eating disorder and it's something else, if there's, like, a physical illness at play that we don't know about, saying, come live with me, just eat these fucking bananas and whatever and mangoes and shit, and you'll be healthy again.
But think about the content. What, like, the ultimate collab would that be?
Ugh. I'm, like, actively rolling my eyes right now.
Right.
It's not cute. And Freely made a dick out of herself, and fucking people like me and people, like, other vegans that are online were fucking embarrassed.
Right.
Like, god damn it. This fucking poor girl. Like, clearly something's going on that we don't fucking know about. And she doesn't want us to know about, otherwise she would have fucking talked about it already.
Yeah.
Like, and yet we got Freely out here, fucking just, like, internet doctor, saying, come live with me, I'll fucking cure you, I'll feed you, we'll figure it out. Like, it's not cool. It's fucking rude. It's really exploitative. I'm not fucking a fan. But that was like last year, this year, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that was a big issue, I guess, with vegan social media. But I don't know what are like, because there's critiques I think on like a more of a mass scale. Like obviously, like whatever, she's not great. But like I'd say in general, there's some problems like with the way people post and talk about veganism.
Well, part of it is white vegans, and I am saying this as a white vegan. We need to fucking collect our shit. We need to gather ourselves, fucking have a group meeting about how not to be classist as fuck and racist as fuck.
Right.
And part of this is like my degree speaking for me, but like also fucking ableist as fuck. White vegans coming out here, everybody should just go to Whole Foods
Yeah.
and eat. Like, even Fully Raw Christina fucking pissed me off. I'm not calling her white. I don't know what the fuck she identifies as. But she's saying, you know, you need to go to my co-op and buy, or I don't know if she has it anymore, but like buy all these fruits and vegetables and whatever. She has, I think, 4 refrigerators in her house.
Yeah.
She has at least 2, because I've seen in like the pictures her fridge is standing side by side, but I think she's got 4. I think I watched like a refrigerator tour
Yeah.
full of fruits and vegetables and shit, just fucking out of fucking control. And she made a couple videos like how to go raw vegan on like $30 a day
Yeah. And that's so much money.
or $20 a day.
Yeah, I remember when that was a topic, and like it was whatever it was kind of ridiculous.
It was expensive for a young single person.
Yeah, that's a one person eating on fucking, I don't know, 3 times 7 is 21, so $210 a week for a single person to eat.
That's
That
incredible.
seems high. That seems a bit much.
No.
So, yeah, I remember that, but then like,
But then there's fucking
Yeah.
there's fucking high carb Hannah a couple years ago talking about a fucking potato diet. Just buy potatoes, which that's super cheap.
right.
It's fucking dumb as hell. You're gonna die. Like, you can't just eat potatoes. You need
Right.
fucking more protein than that. You need more micronutrients than that. Put something else in your body. It's like potatoes and starchy veggies.
Yeah, it's like a
And non-starchy
fad
veggies,
diet.
not starchy.
Right.
Yeah, it's like her way of like losing weight. And I know she's
Right.
had like her own like weight loss journey, and I don't know what her life is like, but the fucking potato diet is bullshit.
Yeah.
But so like so it's classist and gives bad nutrition advice. You can't just go to Whole Foods, and you can't just eat fucking potatoes either. There has to be some sort of happy middle.
Right.
But part of the other issue is it's racist as fuck and ableist as fuck. And it's racist, and this is part of my issue with Twitter, is I follow a lot of accounts on like, or people that are indigenous,
Yeah.
that are like Native Americans, and are like very active in that space.
Right.
But what's a big deal about that culture and in that space is hunting and killing your own food.
Right.
Not for everybody, and not for every single person that identifies as Native American. I'm not trying to speak for them, but that's part of the deal. Is part of that culture is hunting and killing your own food. And like, the people that do this use every fucking part of that animal. And like, because white people have just decimated the native population, there's very few people out here actually doing this.
Right.
Some of those people are on Twitter. And white vegans go on their fucking Twitter and fucking at them and talk about, why can't you just eat vegan?
Right.
Which, like, you think after all that white people have done to Native Americans, white vegans could shut the fuck up and sit down.
Right. You'd hope.
It's not cool. It's not cute. And, like,
Yeah.
that's embarrassing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's sad. I guess they kind of blur the lines between like sport fishing and sport hunting, because that's a big thing on social media where you see like a lot of times really wealthy white people with like giant sharks hanging from hooks and like
That's
deer
fucking
and
bullshit.
mountain lions and stuff. So they're conflating the two maybe, which is not fair.
Well, yeah, I think it's ignorance. I think they're
Yeah.
not educated. They don't understand, like, out of the whole population of the United States, how many indigenous people are hunting and killing their own food for survival because they live in a situation such that that's the best way for them to survive?
Right.
It is none of your fucking business where they get their food.
Yeah.
If you go to Whole Foods If you go to fucking Trader Joe's, shut the fuck up about what Native people are doing. Unless you are fucking asked to speak on it by a Native person.
Yeah.
It's not your fucking business. Because when you, like, boil down that population, that is such a small fucking population as is. And then when you boil it down even more to the people that are hunting and killing their own food, and the fact that they're hunting and killing their own food and then using the rest of the fucking animal for other shit, we don't do that.
Right.
Like, factory farms don't do that shit. They'll
No.
fucking take a leg. They don't care. Like, and that's not cool. And that's part of the issue is, like, white vegans telling people, like, oh, your culture is wrong.
Yeah.
Even though it's, like, the history of white people have taken away so much of their culture and so many of their lives that, like, we really can't be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, we ought to shut the fuck up.
So a lot of problems on vegan social media.
And ableism, but that's, like, mostly self-explanatory. Like, don't tell someone that already has a super restrictive diet
Right.
to eat vegan. Leave them alone. They're not the fucking problem. The people that are killing their own food because that's how they have to survive.
Right.
And the people that are unable to eat such a restrictive diet, like, they're not the fucking problem. It's the fucking white yoga moms that are ordering egg whites with every fucking meal that they get at brunch. Like, it's them. It's them that are the problem.
Yeah.
Like, yell at your local white yoga mom. Don't fucking yell at Native people on Twitter. Leave them the fuck alone. They're not... That's not what we need.
Yeah.
But there are good things for vegan social media.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, it's just... yeah,
Because I don't fucking know.
I'm just ranting, raving, and pissed.
No, yeah.
And especially, like, we're coming off of a conversation we had at dinner about Kalel and her, like, problematic ass, which I don't have to explain because pretty much everybody that's vegan that's hearing this podcast knows what the fuck she got up to this year. But the good things are plentiful. First of all, we're talking to each other. Like, I went vegan because of vegan social media.
Right, like sense of community.
Yeah, there's a sense of community, and, like, I was a part for a while of the vegan outreach mentor program.
Right.
And I had, like, a girl that I was, like, mentoring, and maybe I was mentoring her badly because it kind of fell off. Sorry. Sorry. I still like you. Text me. But she lives in an area near here that is not, like, rural, but not super urban. Not really populated in terms of, like, people that are going to fucking, like, health food stores, not people that are buying a ton of meat substitutes. I don't even know what they have, like, in their area that would constitute as, like, vegan.
Right.
And, like, it was really nice that she and I got to, like, connect with each other and talk about, you know, like she really wanted to know about, like, vegan, like, makeup and beauty and skincare and stuff like that. So, like, we talked a little bit about that. And, like, that's really fucking nice because that's an entirely digital process. If you want it to be, like, physical, like, if, you know, she and I had wanted to get together for, like, coffee or something,
Yeah.
you know, we could have done that. And, like, you know, we could have gone to the store together and looked at makeup and, like, whatever the fuck.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, it started on social media or in a digital platform, and then it could have gone wherever you all wanted it to go. Which I guess is the nice thing about social media. I mean, if you do, like, local vegan hashtags and things, they're like...
You can
find restaurants, you can find people, and, like, that part is cool.
Right, like,
not all
Tampa,
bad.
like, a popular Tampa spot, and there's a few of them now. It's called Taco Bus.
Right.
And it's
Love
just
Taco
fucking
Bus.
dope taco place. And,
Yeah.
like, they have a pretty big social media presence, especially on Instagram.
Yeah.
They, like, post pictures of, like, their little, like a meal with Daya cheese and, like, their vegan steak strips.
Yeah.
And, like, that makes it almost immediately and stays at the top of the, like, Tampa vegan hashtag.
Right.
And, like, that's hashtag I monitor very closely because I'm in it. But they post their food there. And that's something, like, if you just are on Instagram and you put Tampa vegan in the tags, you can fucking see, like, people here in Tampa making food, eating food out, whatever. Because, like, I mean, we were talking about Chili's. Fucking basically everywhere in America has a Chili's. And I think maybe even outside of America. But,
Right.
Like, there's fucking Chili's everywhere. Taco Bus is not everywhere. And, like, local areas have shit that, like, we don't know about. And, like, if we're not talking about it, we don't know it exists. This is, like, how word of mouth functions now.
Yeah. No, great for traveling, too. I mean, if you're going to a city, like, yeah. Social media is not all bad. It connects us.
No, and I
For
really,
better or worse.
I really like that about social media. And, like, honestly, it's taught me a lot about, like, bullshit vegans.
Yeah.
Like,
People talking out their ass.
the Facebook groups were like a hellscape, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, like, one of them was, like, about, like, vegan on a budget, like, broke vegans or something like that.
Right. I remember that one.
And somebody would be like, hey, I have $4 and 2 cans of black beans and some rice. What can I do to last me through the next 3 days?
Right.
And that's, like, in the United States, that's a precarious position to be in. It's
Right.
a shitty situation for most anybody that gets put in that situation. But they have access to the internet, so they're asking Facebook, what the fuck should I get? Like, what's cheap, you know?
Right.
Like, what can we do? And, like, half the comments would be people coming in with fucking, like, here's what you do. And, like, people that are fucking pros of this, and they break it down.
Right.
Like, get this, this, this,
They've
and
been
this.
there.
This is how you make it fucking taste good. Like, they figured it out, right? And then
Right.
the other half is people going, well, not about beans and rice, but, like, you know, oh, why would you eat that? Like, that's unhealthy.
Oh, yeah. No, there's so much critique over, like, food and stuff and the vegan social media. That's definitely true.
Yeah. Part of the problem is that, like,
It's not enough just to be vegan.
no, you have to be,
Yeah.
like, a good vegan.
Yeah.
And in the United States, we have pretty much no health education, like,
Right.
in our, like, schooling growing up. If you go to college and you, like, specifically take, like, a nutrition or dietetics class or program, you learn more about, like, health and nutrition, but most people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Right.
So they'll say, like, oh, you have saltine crackers? That's so unhealthy. Why would you fucking eat that? Because saltine crackers are, like, $2 for a big box of 4 sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, that will keep you surviving until you get paid, and you can, like, kind of reassess and reevaluate, like, what else you're eating. Or, like, one of the issues on that group was, like, dollar menus.
Oh, right.
For a while,
yeah.
like, McDonald's has a dollar menu. Everyone's got, like, a little, like, value menu, whatever the fuck. And, like, people saying, like, hey, I have this much. Like, if I go through the dollar menu, like, what's vegan? And people, like, going, like, why the fuck would you eat that? Why would you
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And, like,
And that's, like, in every community on the internet ever. Is
There's
like
a big group
these
of assholes.
nasty, like, troll people. That's, like, in every community. But it's bad in the vegans, and they really do critique the food. They talk all about the chemicals and...
oh my
You
god,
know,
shut
it's
the
not
fuck
enough
up.
just to be vegan. You've got to be like their specific brand of ultra high class level 10 vegan. And I don't know, fuck those people.
Yeah, they, like, stress me out in, like, a big way.
Yeah.
But on a positive, because I would love to end this on a positive note.
Yeah, sorry.
There always were a ton of comments. I don't know what they're doing these days. They might have fucking even shut the group down because it was such a shit show. But there were always so many comments of people saying, like, you know, okay, well, these baked beans are on sale at this grocery store. Do you have that in your area? I see you're from
Right.
so-and-so. Like, I bet you have it this. Go to the, you know, like, Save-A-Lot or whatever the fuck. And, like, they have this, this, and this. Like, you can get this. That's a ton of calories for, like, 4 meals for the next few days. Like,
Right.
and would, like, really work people through those things. And, like, it's really nice to have other vegans in your corner when you're like, hey, I have no food and no money. How can I make something good and vegan out of this?
Right.
And, like, there's lots and lots of YouTube, like, recipes and stuff like that. And that's part of why I like the vegan bodybuilding side of YouTube, is they come out of the woodwork like, hey, here's 5 high-protein meals for under $20.
Oh,
and,
yeah, like
here's
the
this and
meal
this and
prep
this.
advice. And
It's
all
my
that.
favorite
Yeah.
thing. Because you can learn how to make, like, because you see some of these other vegan channels that, like, I was talking about earlier, like, they're like, hey, you have to eat all potatoes or all rice or just eat all carbs. Don't eat fat because it'll make you fat. But the vegan bodybuilders are like, here's what the fuck to do. This is
Right.
going to be the food that is going to fuel you for the day. It's going to make you feel full. You're going to have gains. Like, they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't care that you fucking 80-10-10. What the fuck is that? That's dumb as hell. And they're vegans. so they get it. They're like vegan dude bros, and they're the light of my life. Honestly, I love them.
There you go. But yeah, social media, a lot of nasty shit, a lot of nice things, connecting other vegans, cool stuff, nice tips, fun things to look at.
Creating vegans and creating hella more vegans.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's good stuff when it's good.
It's usually bad, but that's all social media. I can't just say like vegans are bad.
No, it's not like it's vegan social
go
media.
on fucking any Reddit.
Yeah, just pick a subreddit.
It's just
Fucking
a shit show.
every video editing one I go to, just snarky ass old men.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Anyway,
is that it?
that is it.
Bye.
Bye.